Welcome back, as we are in the middle of finding out what happened to Monday at this point, and find out what ultimately happens to her. But we are back for part 2, and enjoy.
Yeah, we hope you liked the first half, and once again, we got Wade with us, and let's get right back into it.
It's very tough, and I mean, so for those keeping track, we are now left with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah. They don't necessarily kill them in order, but it is funny they sort of keep them clustered in the end here as we go and whatnot. But
Monday's whereabouts unknown, Tuesday's whereabouts unknown. We, the audience, maybe think that was her eye.
Yeah, and now Sunday is Big Dead. So we cut back to the CAB, the Child Allocation Bureau, with Dr. Kamen looking into a room full of captured siblings, saying, "They won't suffer. They won't suffer. I was assured of that." And she goes on to say she dreamed that the building erupted last night, just spewing forth all the siblings, and goes on to say humanity will never learn.
Yeah, again, once again, this film really rewards you when you watch it a second time. You watch this and you think, oh, she's concerned for their well-being. She doesn't want them to be harmed. That's good. And she's having this dream about it going wrong, but that's just a dream. You know, that didn't happen. It didn't happen like that at all. Certainly they weren't incinerated. Of course not. Ooh, some real foreshadowing going on here as we find out that this really had a meaning that we, the audience, don't understand.
Certainly. Well, I mean, we get if nothing else, we get the vibe, even as a first-time viewer, that there's a heavy weight and burden upon Dr. Nicolette Kamen's shoulders here. Yeah. She is at the top of this bureau that it seems pretty unpopular. I mean, with the people, why would it be? You're snatching children up and freezing them, as far as we know.
Yeah. But it has a very central and fraught place in everyone's life. Everyone's life. Like, there's some scenes in the opening of the film of propaganda everywhere. Like posters of
the posters and like this. There's
one child, one Earth, and
I have that noted.
We're all in this together. It's just some we can imagine just like classic propaganda. Back in the day, right? And so the presence of this organization that she is the leader of is just it's everywhere, right?
And we see the same backlash today with like ICE, like they're snatching children, they're breaking up families and stuff. And so it's
exactly.
It's what if the leader of ICE was a morally gray something, maybe even sort of positively leaning person? And not, again, I'm not going to try that real world comparison. That's just not the case of what's happening in the real world. But Glenn Close at the top of an unpopular organization,
bitch ICE Barbie. Exactly.
They're not the same. But she is at the top of an unpopular organization that breaks up families. And so there's at least a comparison you can draw to that today and what's going on in that regard. And so she says humanity will never learn. Like, I mean, she does sort of have a top-down educated person's view of, like, she has a whole picture, whereas a lot of us live our lives in a very small picture view, short-sighted things.
She's trying to solve a vast demographic catastrophe. I mean, and the film does not make any. The film makes it clear there's a vast crisis, and here's this way that it's trying to be solved.
And the agent even assures her, this is right after this, he says, and this is Joe, I think, this is Joe. He says she's not at any fault of any kind. This is the parents' fault for having extra kids, and that she is humanity's last chance. And so he obviously believes in her, and there are people that do believe in this.
There are two different competing ethical theories going on in the film. Basically, everyone gets a chance to live no matter what, whatever the consequences might be, even if we eat the world alive, or we got to make these brutal decisions about who lives and who dies, and it's going to be grim, and there just might not be any.
It has to be black and white. Like, there's no area to allow for siblings. This is the policy, and there's no straying away from it, no exceptions, no nothing.
Again, it's brutally brutally fair.
Yeah, on the face of it, brutal. It works. I get it. I understand it. Yeah. I would potentially agree with it.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. If you're facing such a huge humanitarian crisis, you have to do sometimes the unthinkable or the extreme in order for the preservation of the species.
Oh, yeah. If you model, like,
perhaps
our aquifers going down at this rate versus our population spiking at this rate, it's like we have to do things, guys. Like, we have to do stuff. And so it is a poignant debate that I don't think will go away anytime soon in the modern future, but it's kind of a motif that's just coming up recently with overpopulation and stuff. And frankly, again, I can't overstate the amount of, like, because this was in fringe literature or some things, but with a Dan Brown book, with the Avengers movies, like the Avengers fucking movies, where a lot of people were like, damn, Thanos might have been right. Like, and when you have to think that, and you're like, oh, that's fucking weird to grapple with in like a movie, because it's supposed to be very straightforward. Like they punch the bad guy, whatever, he's bad. But they're like, things kind of were like better when like 50% of the world was gone, or like you just it is in the popular conscious, and so we have this whole thing going on. And Joe's assuring Glenn Close's character she's good, she's fine. But the team that was sent to deal with the Setmans hasn't checked in, obviously, as we just saw them get shot, stabbed, whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
they got dispatched in badass action fashion.
But Kamen doesn't want to go public or loud with this. She says that 7 siblings who made it into adulthood would destroy her credibility, so she still wants this to be quiet. Which is very funny, given a lot of the results of the rest of the film and what happened, mind you. But she wants it to be quiet. She's very
Well, and it's just we don't really understand what that means. Like, why would it destroy her credibility? We feel like, oh, it'd create a scene we don't really understand. It's because it'd be 7 grown women being dragged to, their fate, even if it's being frozen or whatever. It'd be a ghastly scene.
Or they're showing she's fallible, mind you, that you could get around this, where
and that people desperately want to.
But I think you do raise a good point about like 7 adult women making it into adulthood. Kind of that's just really putting the thumb in her face of like, look what we can do under your nose without you ever understanding it. And that's what she takes a huge issue with.
It would maybe call into question the consensus about this, for sure. But
So the scene ends with as Kamen, she kind of looks at her watch and gets a notification about Jerry, Mr. Elevator Guy from Karen's office, and then dispatches Joe to say, this is your priority 1, then go back to the Setmans. And you're like, what the fuck did Jerry do? Like, okay. And so we're back at the apartment, and the remaining 4 women, I believe Friday, finds the eyeball in an agent's pocket. They scan it and confirm it's Tuesdays, much to their horror. But I did find pedantic nerds online being like, you're identical septuplets, and this is going to be the same DNA. There's no way you could know this is Tuesday. And I don't disagree. However, it's Tuesdays. So they do know that.
I kind of had a theory, maybe, if they maybe like did like a THC test.
Oh my god!
then
Tuesdays.
It's like
the eyeball's very red and bloodshot.
Oh my god!
It's leaking resin. So it must be Tuesdays. Yeah.
Oh no!
Exactly.
So we now after that get a Wednesday title card. We're like, oh, Tuesday, a little dis-eyeballed. So now we get a Wednesday. And we see Wednesday looking in the shady mirror that just lights up red with all the various injuries she's sustained on her face and body, to the point that she's just like, fuck this mirror. Like, she's like, she's not going to even bother. Like, if shit's going down, she doesn't want to put on the Karen Setman persona.
No. She's just going as she is, all sporty and fucked up, and
she is going out, and she's going to see Jerry specifically because they don't know that this is a priority 1 of Kamen's or whatever, but they know that he was the last person that talked to Monday in the bar. He's the one lead they have left, essentially. And so Friday puts together a camera and says essentially like, I should have fucking done this like the last 2 times or something, but allows them to hear and see everything that Wednesday does here. So now she doesn't just have the GPS.
She also has a gun left over from one of the goons that tried to kill them.
That's true.
It doesn't fire.
She can't use it.
It's a smart gun, but it's big and bulky and intimidating.
And maybe they don't know that I can't fire. So that's the whole thing. And She shows up at Jerry's apartment, and he greets her, essentially being like, Karen, and cutting it close, aren't you? Like, he knows something that she doesn't. Again, and this information exchange did not take place.
He's a smarmy greaseball. Yeah, exactly. So Wednesday enters the apartment, and they start talking, and he makes more threatening comments about, I know your secret, and I'm gonna reveal you. And she just whips out the gun and just brings it to 100 real quick.
He's like verbally riposting, or just like going to battle, and she's like, what about actual battle, motherfucker?
Yeah. This is not what he's expecting.
No.
He thinks he's playing a clever game of cat and mouse.
And he thinks he's won, mind you, because of what is actually proposed here.
Here's beaten, battered Karen Setman, I guess, whipping out the biggest handgun ever, and looks like he's about to piss himself.
And he's just like, rough night, like, which he's like clearly been beat to shit. Like, he's like, I've got the upper hand, I'm great at this, and then all of a sudden, like, there's a gun in his face. And so, but he doesn't know the actual secret is the thing. And
again, like a moment when like they're two different meanings, right? Like Wednesday thinks that like he knows the secret, all caps, like, of her having siblings, and now just knows about this kind of illicit business transaction that Karen Setman has made. So it's a dirty secret, but it's hardly this like bombshell as discovered, but it's relevant. It's still a crucial clue. It's about a strange money transfer to someone.
A contract where we find out that Cayman is a new VIP client of Karen Setman's, but this was not communicated to the rest of the sisters. Mind you.
Some crucially withheld information about a massive movement of money to Nicolette Cayman.
And none of the Karen Setmans know anything about this. And it's under her name, and they have no idea how that even happened.
So they're finding this out that maybe Monday did something without telling them.
Perhaps, and it's a contract that has Karen Setman's name and not a signature. The guy, Jerry, he says she'd be in jail if anybody but him found that contract, and it was a 407c fund transfer contract with Cayman. And so Wednesday, says, cool, show me that fucking contract with a gun in his face. And I don't know if he detected that the gun is fake at this point, but he clearly isn't intimidated by it anymore, because he takes like the weirdest nonchalant swig of milk and is like from the little milk carton and is like, I'll get to it when I want to. And then we hear a gunshot, and you think to yourself, but wait, Wednesday can't use that gun. It's biometrically whatever. And you're right, because he was sniped in the face mouth when he was drinking milk here.
The milk seemingly explodes in his hand, and he starts gurgling blood in addition to milk, and he goes down, and we realize there's a sniper in a building across the way.
And I think one of the things we didn't touch on before is when we were last at the Child Allocation Bureau, Cayman said to her goon, Joe, while we need to take out the Setman siblings, we have another loose end that we need to figure out.
He was listed as their priority one target in that effect.
So then they said we need to go tie up this loose end.
Right. That's where we're like, what did Jerry have to do with this? And as it turns out, not a whole lot, frankly, but a little bit. He detected this contract and was trying to blackmail.
He knows something very important, but not what we think it is. Is kind of the thing.
He doesn't know how important it is.
Since it's connected to Cayman, she, I guess, learned he accessed it through something, and is like, he's a loose end. And so he's loose end and needs to be dealt with. And after he is dealt with here, the sniper is then immediately going after the Setman sister, because that was what he was told. He was like, get this motherfucker, and then go back to them. And so Wednesday's still trapped in an apartment with a sniper and has to do some diving over countertops to get the blinds closed so that the sniper no longer has vision on her.
She does some athletic juking and jiving to dodge sniper fire. She gets the tablet. Important information. I believe she transmits this to home Right, so it's
all the
the
while
information of this contract.
Talking to her sisters like, hey, someone's trying to fucking kill me right now. Here's the transfer files.
Yeah, they got the video feed on her, so they're all putting like these clues together. Like something is just not. Something is strange. Something is definitely happening.
And she does manage to get the contract uploaded to her sisters during this bit, but essentially she's trapped in here. The Bureau, obviously, it's not just this one sniper. They send more people up because now the sniper can't see. And she looks around and is like, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? And there's just no way out. So she ends up in a bathroom. Yeah. And they do a little like tease of, she looks in the bathtub and she's like, maybe I'll hide behind the bathtub curtains thing, and the guard that comes in there is like, oh, who's behind the whatever, but then she pounces from a corner and is like, ha, it wasn't the bathtub at all, like it was the Quonset hut, Peter, ha.
And so she starts trying to strangle him with like a towel, like the shower,
something,
like hose, or
she's doing a good job of keeping it quiet for a moment too, until it gets loud and he eventually slams his head against the toilet and all sorts of manner of things. And so they know she's in there, and so she's double trapped in a sense of she's in an apartment, was already trapped there. Well, now she's trapped in a room.
They hear something.
They hear clattering,
but they don't know anything else. They just know that their guy is not responding,
right? Because they try to radio him.
Yeah.
And so she's left in there all of a sudden panicking. And again, in this universe, the guns only work with biometrics.
Yes.
So she is left to be like, how do I get out of this?
And so we saw how effective taking a piece of one's body to manipulate the technology of this world can be. And so the Wednesday turns this on its head a bit. She cuts the fingertip. we get a lot of severed fingertips in this film.
It's a reverse Tuesday.
This is a
sure.
device in this film for sure. But she cuts the incapacitated guard's fingertip off, puts that on like a toothpick or something, and is wielding that as the way of activating the guy's smart rifle. And with this, she dispatches the guards that approach her in the bathroom. She finds the one last guard who's radioing in to Joe on ground level about what's happening. And
let's talk about that, because this is very funny. She gets two guards immediately out of the fucking that are coming in the bathroom, and there's like one or two left in the apartment. And so there's a funny scene where the head agent Joe downstairs is like, hey guys, do you need backup? And Wednesday comes out of the bathroom, sees one guy answering Joe's phone call, being like, hey, Joe, and just fucking guns him out a window with like 87 bullets, where he ends up like going all out the window in the balcony and falls down in front of Joe, and Joe goes, guess so. He just fucking gets all these, again, huge on sarcasm and callous death one-liners.
And then after that, just sends another 5 guys up there. Just wave after wave of his own men he sends to their demise, I guess, or he's ready to.
2 seconds after his colleague collapses in a bloody heap before him, he's like, sarcastic remark. I love it.
Yeah, that's how you know who the bad guys are. Yeah, their one-liners are just shit, absolute shit. Yeah.
So she still needs a way out, though. Agents are now streaming up the stairs, or more agents, I guess, because again, Joe's like, "All right, back up, go."
Yeah. So Friday.
How does she get out, Wade? Tell me about this.
Oh my God! So she's talking to her sisters and is like, "You guys, I need to figure out a way to get out of here." And she said, "Oh well, use the front door." And then the sister's like,
thanks, Friday.
Yeah, thanks. Very helpful. But there's actually agents coming through the front door right now. So Friday.
You thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. So Friday, being the computer genius she is, she has the schematics of the building out, and she says, well, if you jump out of the window right here, you're going to land in a dumpster, and the trash within the dumpster will soften your blow for when you fall. Yeah. So she said, all right, let's defenestrate myself and land in this big old trash can. So she jumps out the window and just thud right into the empty trash can from about 2 or 3 stories high.
Womp, womp, womp.
And that's when Wednesday said, there's no trash in here. And Friday responds, oh, trash gets taken out Wednesday morning.
Ooh,
so just hours ago was all that trash that could have softened her fall, taken away, so she just had a really hard landing.
Yeah.
Friday was in a hurry.
Yeah. It was the best way out, really, still, but yeah.
Are you alive? Yes.
Yeah. She takes a big hard fall. It's kind of comedic, but also, she looks rather injured. But
3 stories. She's not like crushed to death.
She's not better than she was before that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. But she's okay. She gets on her feet. She's got to run because the goons are hot on her trail.
Yep.
And so Wednesday starts running, and it's a hot pursuit of her being chased by armed goons, and she's running through back alleys and going through doors and going through
like a slum. Essentially, we see.
Yeah, just kind of blasted urban cityscape. Just she's running through to escape.
She makes it into one door in an alleyway, which I guess I interpret as some sort of slum or this or that. Again, it's packed with people.
Yeah.
But as she is running from the agents, they clearly have no love for these agents and what they are. And 2 of them end up dumping some flaming trash upon the agents in a very helpful to Wednesday moment. And they all kind of cheer. Everybody in the building's like, "Fuck those guys!"
Mm-hmm. And it speaks to the tense consensus surrounding what this organization does. Like it's conflicted.
Yeah,
society is conflicted about it for sure. So, but there's a bit of solidarity going on with flaming trash.
And she ends up sort of like, honestly, it's very funny in this scene. Everybody keeps going about their day for the most part, and then the next building she enters and just doesn't give a shit that this bloody, heaving with sweat or heavy breathing woman is just running around and doing stuff or bashing guards in the nose. They're just here to fix this pipe.
They don't care.
But she goes to this whole industrial building, and then she happens to burst out of a building while being chased, and it happens to put her right in the path of the car of Joe, which he swerves and they slam into a pole, and she goes but also kind of worked out great. Kind of worked out fine for you.
Once again we get a little flipping the script a bit. The last time we saw Joe in a vehicle was a very grim scene of Tuesday getting abducted, and now it's him in his vehicle going off course and colliding. So we I don't know. Once again, Wednesday's flipped the script twice. Maybe she's going to get away. Maybe she's going to do it. But anyway, she continues running. And see, where does that end up?
She's running through a populated area, and eventually the soldiers kind of tire of chasing her and just start shooting, which just cap a couple bystanders for sure. Again, every time something like this happens, I keep thinking back to Glenn Close's scene where she's like, "Just keep this quiet." Really, just a quiet operation, and they're just gunning down people in a crowd at this point.
Yeah.
But Friday says she needs to get to the roof, and she can get Wednesday home from there. But as she's trying to find a route from that, there is banging at the home apartment door, where Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are.
In the midst of the gang at home trying to coach Wednesday through this, right? There's a knock at the door. They check the camera. They see what looks like a Child Allocation Bureau goon, like one of their henchmen at their door knocking on it, and so of course they freak. They don't know what to do, but they got to go radio silent, leaving Wednesday kind of hanging, just to kind of figure the situation out on her own for a bit. Saturday volunteers to handle this, to
try to make him go away,
deflect whatever scenarios at their door. We discovered that it's good old Gardo. We saw him with Monday earlier. Right?
I also want to interject a little bit there. It seems that Thursday is maybe a bit of a leader of the group too, in the fact that she is kind of leading decisions, whether they're right or wrong. She's the kind of de facto leader. The sisters look up to her as a source of inspiration and stuff like that. So when this guard comes to the house, she's like, I'm going to deal with him.
Yeah, she was going to deal with him.
And that's when Saturday, I think, realizing that Saturday hasn't really done much. Like Thursday's been the one kind of helping coordinate efforts, saying this is what we need to do. This is how we need to. She's acting as a problem solver. Yeah. I feel at this point, Saturday, she really wants to help, and she just doesn't know how. And so she says, this is my opportunity to be the one that's helping my sisters, because I haven't done anything really yet.
And between the three of them that are there, Friday probably could not handle this situation. Yeah. And Thursday will probably go full violent.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it's really Saturday.
Yeah,
she's
most
the one,
apt
she's the
to
one
handle
that can really,
this in a non-confrontational way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what they need.
Yeah, exactly. So she takes charge. She opens the door, and it's Gardo.
Adrian.
Yeah. Well,
no, it's Gardo.
Yes.
Gardo. Adrian.
Well, okay. Yes. As Kyle has pointed out, it is Adrian. In fact, noticing. What he thinks is Karen Setman's new look. Saturday has bleached blonde hair. It's cut shorter. She dresses, like a hot mess, but kind of she wears
the one
pinks
strap overalls, and she's pink. She's got a whole thing going on that he's never seen before.
So it's a totally different look from Monday for sure. So he's curious. Saturday lets him in.
Well, he kind of invites himself, and he's like, "Are you gonna let me in?" And he just walks in, sort of. So he does seem to have a level of familiarity with at least one of the Karens in this instance, and it's further shown when he kind of starts physically touching her in a way that it implies a relationship. And as he physically touches her and gets a little more sexual, he starts to choke her too.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, what's happening now? Yeah. Like, what is the cab agent doing? But then she's just like, could you please not do that? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you liked that. It wasn't like a cab agent brutality. It was like we have previously had rough sex and
there's some form of previous consent within that kind of touching that you can glean from that.
Yes. Adrian is certainly familiar with Karen Setman, for sure. And so that's, of course, who he thinks he's engaging with. But we find out that, oh, well, Monday certainly didn't mention this.
Well, none of the three girls left here know who this is. Yeah. So they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Were you seeing him? Were you seeing him? No? Okay. Yeah. And so they try to find out by hatching a plan. They're like, go to his house and find out which one of us he was seeing, essentially.
Yeah, because they don't actually know. They just know that one of them apparently likes to be choked. For sure. So.
And Friday works up a plan where if she happens to bring her bracelet close to Adrian's, they get an end to the cab's systems, essentially.
Yeah. Friday once again coming in with the neat trick here, like the added device, like a camera, or in this case, like a way of hacking.
Yeah, and like Kyle mentioned before, just like she's acting as the oracle. Like anytime they need something within the system or to figure something out, Friday is the person to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So. Let's see, where are we scene-wise?
So what we were doing is, well, first off, we're informed at least a little bit, I guess oddly, that Saturday, despite being the, again, girl that gets to go out on a party night and a party girl reputation, she's a virgin. She's very nervous about this happening, just from the sense of like, I have never had a penis inside of me.
Thursday and Saturday talking about like what is her plan, what are they going to do, and Thursday just like slyly alludes to, well, have sex with him, tempt him with sex, and we discover Saturday's a virgin. We'd think the party girl of all of them would be sexually active and experienced, and no.
And I think that's also interesting within sibling or these sister dynamics is, how do you keep secrets? Like your whole entire life needs to be shared, and even with someone so close to you, I can't imagine if you're trying to keep a secret, you have to hold that so close to your heart in order not to let on at all. It's just it's mind blowing to think about the effort that it takes to hold on to a secret when your whole life is kind of public for your sister's protection.
Well, and knowing what the consequences are, like of withholding information can be. Like they're finding that they all assumed anyway that Saturday was sexually active. No, not true at all.
And then to find out a new facet of your sister, you thought she was this kind of slut. She just gets dick down every Saturday.
She apparently talked big about it.
So and here she is, like trying to man up to the situation, and then her sisters are learning. That was all an act.
Yeah.
She thought that that's what she needed to present to her sisters and the world, and so that's what she showed. But in reality, similar like Sunday when she was dying, she's like, I don't know who I am. This might be Wednesday's moment of thinking, Saturday's moment of like, who am I? Am I this party chick that I've been telling everyone, even though that's literally not who I am? It's just a different dynamic.
Yeah, they've all been keeping secrets, and they all have profound doubts about who they are and their relation to the world and their position in it. And they have all the doubts that any person would have. Except that they have to live 1/7 of a life, and they have to keep things so desperately regimented and strict and secret. So it's just the normal pressures of life, and then the pressures of this desperate situation they're in too. Yeah, exactly. But they're discovering they're all keeping secrets. Like they there are things they don't know about each other, and that's amazing because they know basically everything about each other except seemingly the most important things. Like they had no idea that Sunday was just racked with existential doubt. They had no idea. Like, what a secret, what a thing to discover, and they had no idea. Like, wow. So
Saturday takes off with him to presumably go get fucked, while the other girls remember Wednesday's in trouble. They're like, oh shit, actually. Remember Wednesday? Like, running from absolute, like, legions of men with guns?
Exactly.
Like,
So they go back to Wednesday.
She's doing all right, though, because as soon as we come back to her, she clobbers a guard in the face with a pipe. While, again, the men in the background don't react at all. They're totally fine
factory
with this.
workers like, oh, cool, just another Wednesday
don't
here.
Know nothing, don't see nothing.
Right.
I'm not here. Yeah. That is pretty hilarious, actually.
Friday gives her way up to the roof at this point, where she finds a very large leap to the next roof waiting for her.
Yeah, so the path that she's directed on to escape, it takes her to the roof, and she's got to make the leap. All right, she's the athletic one. This is what she can do. She's got to leap across a giant gap between two buildings to escape. This is her only chance, and Thursday's explaining to her, you can either go back down there and get shot, or you can jump across to their building, but at least this way you got a chance. Some dreadfully ironic foreshadowing, as we're about to discover, but yeah. Anyway, she revs up. She
runs for it. Yeah.
She's going for it. She leaps, and it looks like she's going to make it. She's going to make it, but here comes Joe. We don't see Joe for a while. Like the vehicle wrecks. He's got a scratch on his scalp, and we don't see him for a while though. But apparently but we do see him tracking Wednesday's bracelet. We get a little scene of his tablet tracking her.
Is that what that was? Because now he definitely is one step ahead versus all the guards that are one step behind her.
We don't see what happens to him after that, but apparently he was following her very closely and got ahead of her and has intercepted her.
If Friday can do it, probably this giant government agency can figure this out.
And so he has intercepted her at the absolute critical moment, and as she is about to complete the jump, he shoots her in midair, and she does make it, but getting shot and all that, she's hanging. She's hanging off the ledge.
She was going to make it. The momentum fully shifts backwards. She was headed forwards in her leap, and then the gunshot puts her back. And But it does leave her just clinging to the edge in a very Mufasa-like Scar thing, which gives him enough time, Joe, to sort of walk up to the edge slowly and dramatically shoot her in the head.
Again, it's real grim, and the sisters see this too,
all through the body cam.
So.
And they cut to the footage of the cam too. Like we see outside view of the sister jumping across the buildings. We see her momentum go backwards because of the gunshot. She's hanging on the side of the building for dear life. She gets shot again, and then immediately we go to the camera that's on Karen Setman and just see the top of the building get further and further away as we know that the body is falling down to earth.
Yeah, the sisters are aghast at what they've just witnessed, and it cuts back to the camera, and we see blood, like a pool of blood forming, like emanating from where we can imagine is Wednesday. And
at this point, Monday's missing. Tuesday is at best incarcerated.
With a missing eye.
Right. Wednesday and Sunday are dead, and Saturday is going to get laid. If we're keeping track of
Meanwhile, so after this grim scene with Wednesday, we find Saturday with Adrian. On this scheme to
Thursday and Friday are first looking at the contract that Wednesday uploaded to him. Further, I think we've already alluded to it, frankly, but millions of euros were illegally transferred to Nicolette Kamen's campaign fund, and it was done the same day Karen Setman got her promotion. But weirdly, there's no signature for Karen on the document, though.
Yeah, so the sisters theorize that this is what secured the promotion. Again, they know nothing about this. There's all kinds of things about, especially this particular day, that they don't know. And this is perhaps something that was just, again, not told to them. So another deadly secret. But yeah, so they now find this contract, and then we find Saturday at Adrian's apartment, Adrian's place.
Right.
So we'll be right back.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all set. It's back.
Cool.
Okay. So we cut to Saturday, naked in bed, titties in the breeze, and she seems to be enjoying this whole new, what do you call it? Getting your pussy eaten out sensation quite a bit. This is all brand new to her apparently, but she seems on board, mind you. However, she also sees this as a time Mr. Mustache, Adrian, Gardo. This is just see again the names we write down in our.
You
notes.
complain about Gardo. How dare you?
I had to go back and add Adrian into this because
Mr.
I was like,
Mustache.
Mr. Mustache. He's distracted eating her pussy, so she manages to sync her bracelet with his. She's like, "This is great. Oh, this is also a good time for my mission to be doing a thing." And so
yes, she's having some new experiences for sure.
Right.
So
Cunnilingus, subterfuge, all these things are new to Saturdays.
So it's a touching moment, like barely, and a nice little touch too, which again, the value of a second viewing of a film. There's a picture in the background on their shelf of Karen Setman and Adrian. It's a picture of them posing together, and we get this little clue that they have a long-standing relationship, and like he's got a freaking picture of them like on his shelf, like. The secret's being withheld. It's just kind of amazing, right?
Right.
This is a developed thing. And the way that Adrian moves around Saturday, he doesn't know this, but it's very familiar. Like clearly, he has had sex with Karen Setman before, right? It's just we're discovering all kinds of things. Yeah. But Saturday is a virgin, and she has a crucial mission to accomplish, but also.
Well, once it's done, that's when she's like, "Cool, fuck me now." Yeah. Like she literally says to him, like, "Yeah, you should fuck me." And he's like, "I agree." Yeah. and then we get a top-down shot of his butt going to work as he thrusts into her or whatever. And as the clock strikes midnight, we get a title card of Thursday. So
So we leave Saturday in coital bliss. Meanwhile,
Thursday as Friday, where the cells are in the cab, as they now have camera access. Thanks to Saturday,
and they've hacked the system, and they're now figuring out the Child Allocation Bureau facility and whatnot, and with the video feed that they have access to, they find who they think might be Monday. They think they've found her still alive and in captivity. So
it definitely appears to be one of the sisters. She's hiding her face, so they can't really see it. But they haven't seen Monday in a while. Again, what happened to her? What happened to Monday?
Exactly. And they assume naturally that Tuesday is dead if they have in their possession her eyeball. So so they think they found Monday. It's a moment of hope for them. One of their sisters who they thought was dead might actually still be alive. Let's see.
Let me go back to Saturday as Adrian and they're kind of cuddling in bed again, post-coitus. He says he's late and talks about a big event tonight regarding Cayman sort of running for parliament. Saturday kind of asks like why he works for them though and rounds up siblings. Kind of lets the mask slip at least a little bit and is like lets her discuss show or just be like, why do you work for these fascists essentially? And I mean, Adrian's answer isn't that bad. We learn, and this is history shows, not every fascist or person working for a fascist regime is the worst person. However, just following orders is also not the best defense. And so we see that old Adrian there, he kind of says things like, well, I mean, have you seen the way these poor children live, essentially? Like, we are saving them or we're rescuing them from something that's not that great of a situation.
Yeah, he's accepted the party line, basically, and not with ill intent. Like, he sees this as a well-meaning effort to accomplish a needed goal. Like he's not
like what's not to like about it? Like when he says he goes into like these poor impoverished neighborhoods and he sees these kids malnourished, they're not eating the best, they don't look the best, and he's like that's not a great life for these people. So what's better, letting them kind of live in squalor that is a really poor life condition, or can we save them, put them in cryo sleep and save them for the future where they can live a much better life than this shitty life they're living right now? You know, on the face, that why wouldn't you be opposed to that? Like, yeah, it sucks, like rounding them up, but they're going to go to a better place.
Yeah. He sees what he's doing as maybe difficult work, but well intentioned, and perhaps on some level it is. You know, it's again like the film presents this ethical dilemma, but it isn't really taking sides on it.
Yeah,
like not really. It's a clear ethical conflict. You know, and he's not exactly a bad guy, but he has a position in it. So yeah, absolutely.
So at this point, Saturday susses out who he's been seeing by bringing up, you know what, I'm really busy with work. Let's just see each other on our regular day.
Yeah.
And gets him to spit out the like, you know, we've talked about this. I don't want to just see you on Mondays.
Yeah.
And
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
We have found it. We've got our person. And this is Monday. She's been the one seeing him. And so she was also the one that saw him in the line earlier. You get the vibe maybe that he would have been more open with her and the affection had he not been at work, I guess. Because we saw her being kind of like, oh, I guess, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, So Saturday video calls the other two girls after he's gone, and they tell her Monday is alive because they saw her in the cell there, while she tells them Monday is the one seeing Adrian. So they're like, Monday, what are we doing here? And then, but meanwhile, we see Joe gearing up to presumably storm the apartment where Thursday and Friday still are, and we see agents have entered the apartment behind Saturday as well.
Yeah. So the goons have found Saturday. Unfortunately, she's trapped there by herself in front of the computer terminal, with a live video feed going back to the apartment where Thursday and Friday are seeing everything. They're seeing her confronted by the guards, and she slowly turns around and is trying to say, "I love you," one more time to her sisters, but is capped mid sentence.
She gets out an "I love" and then is shot in the head in front of them again.
It's just so gut wrenching because she's kikiing with her sisters, and also in that post-coital glow, she's happy. She just got fucked. She's feeling really great. Her suitor just left, so she's kind of in the place there by herself, and then she turns around unbeknownst to her, and she sees this danger, and she recognizes she can't hide, she can't run, she knows she's done for. So the last moments of her life, she just wants to connect with her sisters and tell them, I love you, and that was even taken away from her.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, and this following Wednesday's equally brutal, grim death. It's tragic. It's pretty heavy, and then immediately after this happens, we see smoke grenades fly through the window at the apartment, and so without getting even a moment to catch their breath, they're immediately under attack by Joe and posse once again.
Some sort of chemical or gas grenade, apparently, because they are struggling to breathe a bit. And Friday tries to save some sentimental value stuff and remarks it's the only proof they've ever actually existed, which is poignant in a sense.
It's the combined digital record of their lives, basically. It's like every photo and video recording, just everything about their lives in digital form.
And of their true personalities, the personalities that they were at home, that is not a Karen Sedman. Because if they don't have that, then the world is only going to know them as one person, Karen Sedman, who's kind of bland, but
and also kind of not real.
Yeah, and kind of fake.
Yeah, also
totally fake.
Kind of a fake persona.
Inconsistent, if anything, I imagine.
Yeah. So it's very. This is very precious. It's like the most precious thing they have is this collection of memories about their existence.
Right. The fascists can't keep this from us. We have our memories. We did exist. Like our story, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. And so she, both realizing the value of this and also understanding. Maybe understanding herself better than any other of her sisters. Friday understands that she's not ready for the world. She's a shy, mousy kind of figure, and she very much needs her sisters, and she's very good at helping them, but on her own, she knows she can't make it, and so she opts to, as we're about to see, make a huge sacrifice of herself.
Right, because she's trying to be like, no, we need to save this, our memories, and Thursday's like, no, we have to fucking go, and like kicks down the wall behind the mirror panic room, which again, you could probably delve symbolism from, I guess, of
exactly.
We've now kicked the wall out behind our identities.
They're not hiding anymore. They can't hide, so they're just kicking down the entire edifice, basically. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
This apartment where they end up in backs up to a fire escape, and so they are going down it, and luckily the Bureau has not found them back there, but Thursday makes it down and goes down the fire escape, and then Friday, midway down, pulls it back up.
Yeah. She pulls up the ladder. She goes back into the apartment. Thursday is, of course, screaming at her to not do this, but as Friday explains, I think from the fire escape. She needs her sisters, and so she knows that she's done. So she goes back into the apartment, and she's gonna set up set up a little attack and payback of her own.
And I think that's when she realizes like that world's not for her. Like when she's trying to escape with Thursday goes down first. She pulls the ladder back up, and she knows that her life is not on the run. Her life is to be behind the scenes with her family, her sisters, who she's comfortable with, and she sees her whole world disintegrating around her. She's seen the death of a lot of her sisters, and to be honest, if I was in her position, I wouldn't have as much of a will to live either. Just seeing the cruel realities of what this world it can do to you without repercussions, it's horrible. And she's not a fighter. She is a pacifist by nature. She uses her intelligence to fight, and with that, she knows that while she can't be like physical, stab someone, shoot someone, she can use her brain to get back. So that's exactly what she does. So she goes back into the apartment, smoke everywhere, and what she does, she grabs a lot of aerosol cans, puts them into the microwave and sets it for a minute. Yeah. She takes out her oven or stove that's gas powered, has the gas going everywhere, and that's when she finishes the file update and transfer of not only the Nicholas Kamen contract, but also all the family photos to show that they existed, that they were something in a world that told them they are not. They're one thing, but that's not true. Yeah. And so she got all that to her sister and was basically kind of telling her goodbye, knowing that she's not going to go on much further.
Right.
Yeah.
This is very much a self-sacrifice. She knows it. She sends the stuff to Thursday in that regard. And I mean, we see a lot of agents outside the door. There are lots and lots of them, including Joe prepping to come in. And right as the transfer completes and we see a full family photo of Terrence and the girls, Friday says, "I love you." She gets the full sentence. Unlike Saturday's sad, whatever.
That gave me goosebumps.
And the top floor explodes as Thursday looks up and on, which brings Thursday to her knees as she is now the only free sibling remaining, maybe the only one left for all she knows, frankly.
Yeah.
And it just kind of... It's gone.
Yeah.
Her home, one of her last sisters that she has remaining in life, it just devastates her quite literally.
Yeah. That was the central location of their world.
Yeah.
It was that apartment was absolutely vital to their existence, and it has just been blown to bits, and she could very well be the last living of her sisters.
There's no going back. There's no hiding anymore. You're forced to go into something new.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Adrian getting news that an explosion has happened at this apartment in particular.
Like a police scanner, like a broadcast of some kind. Yeah. He knows the address. Once he hears it, he's like, oh.
So he rushes over there. Thursday, however, is lying in wait. So Adrian shows up. He goes inside into the lobby. He sees a charred Karen Setman, as far as he knows, being brought out in a body bag, and he is of course incredibly distraught at this. He goes back to his vehicle, but in his vehicle is Thursday waiting for him with a knife,
a particularly sharp piece of glass.
Oh, okay, a glass
pressed to his neck,
a shard of glass,
saying he sold them out. Yeah, that's about what she figures at this point. But this obviously confuses Adrian. He's all, Karen. Karen?
Yeah.
So for all he knows, it's just his,
Yeah. So Karen. So lover, Adrian does not know what's happening because he saw what I guess was Karen Setman dead in a body bag, and now here's Karen Setman once again with a different hairdo in a rage about to kill him, accusing him of selling her out. So neither of them understand what's actually going on. Thursday still does not quite understand the nature of Adrian and all this, and Adrian. It finally dawns on them that they're siblings.
Yeah, you're a sibling.
Yeah,
I saw you with blonde hair longer than this a day ago. Like it must have been something. And so, and Thursday confirms she's one of 7 there, and so Adrian confirms in turn that he did not turn them in, as A, he didn't know this, and B, he loves Karen. And so Thursday says she has a plan to get them into the cap, where they essentially are like, oh, we're not enemies. Like, I'll take this sharp piece of glass from your throat here, and
that's also where I think they find common ground, because after they find out they're not going after each other, that's when Thursday says, your company, your boss is holding your lover. Monday is being held against her will, and we need to go save her. And that is their next journey, but that's where they find common ground to have a common enemy in order to save their sister or their lover.
Yeah. They both want to get Monday back. Yeah. For the same reason and kind of different reasons, but so they infiltrate the CAB with a great plan. We see Thursday in a body bag being brought in by Adrian. So that's their clever ruse. Adrian using his credentials to get Thursday in, and so they make their way to the cryogenics chamber.
Right. Well, she could scan her bracelet. She has a priority 1 classified, so they let them up essentially. And, and they do proceed up the elevator to the large room. Yes, which is there's 2 nurses and a child and a cryopod.
Yeah. So interesting that they would direct a seemingly dead body to the cryo room. Like just various inconsistencies.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Or does it? It doesn't make any sense except it's about to make a lot of sense very quick.
Right, because when he gets up there, Adrian's relieved of the stretcher by one of the nurses saying, "I'll take it from here," and you're like, "Okay." All right. But then we see the little girl being prepped for the cryopod as Thursday watches through the body bag here.
Yeah, we saw this little girl earlier, and she's in the CAB facility, but it's set up for kids, and so there's like happy kids wallpaper and beds and toys and all that, and it looks very comfortable.
Right. Fun pajamas.
And now here the same girl is once again being led into this kind of pod. It's like a giant pod in the center of this room, suspended on like a heavy kind of table rig or something. She gets in. The child is nervous, and the attendant, kind of like a nurse or whatnot, gives her a shot.
Which I don't think we mentioned this necessarily. It's not a huge oh my god moment, but the child here goes. She asks if it will hurt, and the person says no.
Yeah.
We get asked the same question earlier in the film, and it's Monday asking Terrence when she's about to get her finger cut off, will it hurt? And he says yes, unfortunately. And so
he's very honest about it. Yeah, this is going to hurt, and the nurse very as you've contrasted, lies about it.
Yeah.
Or well, I guess does and doesn't, right? I guess she is telling the truth, but it kind of this film in double meanings. It's not the truth that we think it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so she does get sedated though. She gets a shot and she's like, there's no, it won't hurt, and she's knocked out at this point.
Yeah.
And we see the cryopods sort of start to activate. Like she goes over there to do that, and we see gas start blowing in, and one would assume it would be liquid nitrogen or something of that sort, which would then cryopod this girl. However, shortly following the gas comes flames, literal flames that we see. This is not liquid nitrogen. This is more akin to and
just straight up crematorium.
Yeah. 100%.
This is not Han Solo being put in carbonite. No, this is just in fact a giant crematorium, and this is the terrible secret at the heart of this entire societal setup. Cryo sleep is in fact fiery death. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Which can, it flips the whole, if this is the first time you're seeing this movie, oh, wow, this changes the whole discussion about
spoiler
this.
alert. Sorry.
And Thursday, she ends up at least videoing the last half of this process because she's looking out through the body bag through a little clear bit, and she's like, this seems important. So she does catch this on camera, but the next thing that happens is the nurse unzips Thursday, kind of looks at her body and goes I thought there was a fire. I thought this body would be burnt or whatever. Upon seeing a rather intact body, but this cuts directly to Joe finding 2 tied-up agents and realizing something is amiss. So presumably what has happened here is that they were taking back Friday's body, and they were going to do that, but they intercepted the guards that were going to do that and took Thursday up instead. So we get how they essentially, a tiny bit of backstory as to how they got in successfully. But Joe's like, oh shit, and is like, somebody's in the building essentially, and has to go deal with that. Thursday then missile kicks the nurse into a cryopod and then seals it up with a few taps on the future floaty board. Boop, bop, boop. And then she overpowers the other nurse and is kind of fighting with him and trying to sedate him, as the one nurse who's in the cryopod is like, no, get me the fuck out of here. This is in the cryopod. She knows. She's very intimately familiar with this.
Yeah, she's incinerated alive.
And she didn't get the sedative. Yeah, this was a brutal,
she was screaming the entire time.
On fire corpse screaming as a
it's a comeuppance for the ages, for sure. She gets live incinerated in the pod. The other nurse with her, he gets in a tussle with
He's overpowered and eventually sedated with his own thing. He's trying to get her with. And then Adrian dispatches the 2 guards outside the room. Yeah, so they both just sort of pause and absorb what they just saw, though. Like Thursday and Adrian.
They have to take a moment to just think about how vast this is that they've discovered.
I mean, they just figured out a lie that has been told to them for years, that everyone believes that the goal is to freeze people for the future, and they just found out that they've been killing people for decades in order to keep the population down and killing innocents, like killing children of all people.
Yeah, unwittingly part of the greatest Holocaust of all time.
Yep.
And they just got
no idea.
They just got to take a moment to consider this.
Yeah, the film takes a few silent beats here, just to be like, wow, wow. But they use the future floaty board to figure out that Karen Setman is being held in cell D2, and they end up going that way. And Adrian's excited to reunite with his lover, but they quickly find out this is not Monday, though. It's a Tuesday. With her missing eye, but it is Tuesday. She is alive.
Not who they were expecting to find, which is interesting.
Adrian asks where Karen is, and then in the old wink titular name drop that often happens in movies, Thursday says, "What happened to Monday?" While asking Tuesday, and so. Yeah. Wow.
They said the name of the film.
They said the thing. Oh my God. And as she asks that, we immediately see Monday entering Dr. Kamen's office, though. I do love the transitions in this film.
That's so good.
They'll mention a subject or a thing, and they'll seamlessly go on to the next bit, whether it be a flashback
what happened
or
to
in
Monday?
this case,
right
there.
Funny you should ask. Yeah. So we see a meeting between Monday and Nicolette Kamen, and we discover the nature, the true nature of what's been happening this entire time. And as we discover, this has all been a scheme by Monday to become the one sibling,
the one true Karen.
One Karen Sutton.
Yeah, because as was Riley noted by Friday early in the film, well, one of them will get to live. Well,
right now we can bring back all these like winks and nods and foreshadowings to you because we don't want to completely ruin it. But yes, that's this is very much that.
So we discovered that it was Monday who did initiate this basically like a bribe almost to Nicolette Kamen's political campaign fund as she tries to get elected to Parliament. That it was this scheme that has led to. Well, we, the audience, know this. Monday is maybe not aware of this, or we don't really see her considering it, though we kind of do, right? Nicolette points out that she can never really be fully trusted because she's betrayed her sisters, right?
Her own blood, her family,
her own flesh and blood.
Yeah, she's done everything she could to fit into society as she knows it and understands it, and even by doing that, she's forever marked as selling out her sisters. And this is being noted by the one person in charge of it all too, which is the grand conflict.
Right.
It is this of all people who is both leading the charge on diminishing the population and is clocking her for failing another ethical test. It's just it's impossible. You can't win with this woman, can you?
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, every time she's on, I don't even know the word necessarily. Like, it's a very like poignant. She's just this very realistic because she'll say things like in this scene. She remarks that we have failed miserably as a species and we've masterminded our own extinction. And I mean. Again, to go back to the overpopulation of the theme and whatnot, when this is talked about in that way, where it's like we are overpopulating, it's like humans are a disease almost, where we are, who does this is like takes all of its host and then just bleeds it dry and then dies. Like those are parasites, those are diseases or something.
She's always very true but very grim about it. Her truth is always the grimmest truth. It's always true. But it's just, oh, geez. Yeah. But again, as this film does not do, it's not deciding who's right for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's presenting a ethical conflict, and the film doesn't exactly try to resolve it, right?
No, not really. I mean, I was left at the end and kind of like, did it take a side? Like, I don't think so.
It just states things as very matter-of-factly, like this is just the world.
Yeah.
In all of its grayness, it's just happening. It's not either right or wrong. It's just what is going on.
And it's kind of how a certain consensus has formed about things too, and so it's just kind of we're just seeing kind of the world that they live in, you know, just the kind of the air that they breathe.
Yep.
It's this constant grim consideration of let's try not to end all of humanity by overpopulation. It's just always hanging over them, like, and it's just. Oof.
Yeah. And we see the results of the deal out of them. What Nicolette Kamen gets is, I mean, she gets more political power because she says, with her push for it, we might just have another chance, essentially. And Monday gets to be Karen, the one true Karen here.
Yeah.
And that is what she gets out of it all.
They're
just
both,
keep living her life.
They're both ambitious women, and they're willing to do whatever it takes for that ambition. Absolutely whatever it takes, even these things that they're doing, for sure. And so in that regard, they're similar. They kind of have an affinity.
And we'll find more about why Monday's doing what she's doing, which again is a bit cutthroat or perhaps selfish. But I mean, some of this, and compared with Dr. Nicolette Kamen's, hers is selfless. So it's an interesting dichotomy of. It's a very selfless versus selfish thing.
Oof, didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Well, yes and no. But yeah, we're about to get there to the big reveal.
Right. So okay, we see that Tuesday still had her Karen wig on, and she gives it over to Thursday, who gets all dragged up as Karen again, intending to use it as a disguise here.
Yeah.
If we're counting, this is now Numi Rapace having to play Thursday, pretending to be Monday, pretending to be Karen.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah. This actress, jeez.
She did so great.
That was a great bit. I did note that and was like, damn.
I'm gonna gush about her performance at the end of all
She
this.
deserves it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But so Thursday arrives as Karen to the big event we heard about earlier. This big gala thing, fundraiser for Parliament for Kamen. And as Kamen arrives and begins glad-handing and greeting her guests here, that's basically when Tuesday arrives at the party. And so, meanwhile...
Yeah. So Thursday has donned the Karen persona.
Thursday arrives at the party,
and Tuesday and Adrian, they're going to kind of like a server room.
Yes, they're forcing their way to a server room.
Yeah, they have Thursday's recording of the incineration of the little girl. And this is the bombshell that they're going to use to expose the system. And so they're going to a terminal where they can do this.
They pretend Adrian is a hostage, and Tuesday's like, I'm going to fucking shoot him. And they're like, don't let him shoot me. And then they get some open the door, and then they dispatch those guards too. Yeah. Adrian shoots one of them in the foot. It's kind of rude. Like, I mean, I guess it lets him live. But yeah, like, thanks, but also like, ow.
You jerk. Jeez. Yeah exactly. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up part 2 of our review of what happened to Monday. We have more to talk about, so stay tuned. We have part 3 coming up.